Hello, everyone. Welcome to Between the Lines, the podcast where books become conversations. I'm Juana, and today we're talking about something that can truly transform people the importance of reading. We are honored to welcome two incredible and world famous authors. Please welcome to Isabel Allende and Chimamanda Ngozi.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a honor.
Thank you. I really enjoy to talk about the books eh, because reading has changed my life and my career.
Okay, let's start with a question of both of you. Isabel, what inspires you to write the first book?
I've always been passionate about the stories. As a child, books helped me discover myself and understand the world around me. So I decided to write the kind of stories I wanted to read. I even wrote my first novel by myself called La Casa de los Espíritus.
That's interesting. Chimamanda, what about you?
For me, it all began with my love of reading. As a girl, a little girl, I realized that books could give a voice to different culture. Reading helps me express myself, and eventually, I want to create a story that represent people like me.
Who have been your biggest influence as authors, Isabel?
Many well known writings inspired me, but I also learned from ordinary people. Every person's life has a story worth telling.
I completely agree. One of my biggest influence has been listening the people experience. Every conversation teach me something new.
I've never thought about it in that way. That's a wonderful perspective. Now, why do you think reading is so important, especially for children? Chimamanda, what do you think?
Reading helps children imagining different worlds. When they read, they learn to put themselves in something else places. Books teach empathy, curiosity, and confidence. These are long-standing lesson.
Exactly. Children who read become more open minded adults. Books help them understand different cultures and ideas. Reading isn't only about learning vocabulary, it's about learning humanity.
I'm sure many of our listeners can relate to that. Many young people think reading is time consuming. What would you say to encourage them, Isabel?
I tell them to begin with just one chapter a day. Reading isn't a competition. Little by little, books become part of your life.
And I will say that everyone can find a book they enjoy. Maybe you haven't found the right genre yet.
That's a great point. Isabel, could you describe your creative process?
Sure, my writing process usually begins with a question. Then I imagine the setting, the plot, and the main character. Sometimes the hero surprises me more than the villain. I usually isolate myself while writing because silence helps me think.
Could you tell us a little more about that?
Of course, I like to understand each character's emotions before I start writing. If I don't know them well, neither will my readers.
Wow, and what about you, Chimamanda?
My process is a little different. I usually begin with an emotion, then I slow build the conflict, the characters, and finally the ending.
Your novels are loved by millions of readers. What strategies do you enjoy using and how they help you to connect with your readers?
I mostly write literature fiction. I love using symbolizing and imaginary because they allow readers to have their own ideas. And I also try to speak about the real life. Readers often tell me that books remind them of their own experiences, and that means everything to me.
I enjoy historical fiction with magical realism. I also use metaphors because they make stories more thought-provoking. If you ask me, well, writing never should stay in the reader's head long after the last page. Books create conversations between people who may never meet.
What a wonderful answer. By finally, what advice would you give to young writers and to people who don't enjoy reading yet? Isabel?
Oh, believe in yourself. Don't compare yourself with others. And every great reader starts with a single book.
If you ask me, be curious. Read different genres until you find one you like. Some books are paced, but others may seem old-fashioned. But every story has something valuable to teach us. And of course, never stop asking questions.
Okay, and before we finish, I would like each of you to answer in one sentence. Why should people read?
Okay, reading helps us understand ourselves and other people.
To my mind, reading a gift of empathy, imagination, and hope.
Okay, thank you both. Today we learned that reading is much more than a hobby. Books inspire us, connect us, and help us to understand the world. Thank you, Isabel and Chimamanda, for joining us today.
Oh, thank you. Keep reading and never stop imagining.
Thank you. Happy reading, everyone.
And thank you to everyone listening to the Between Lines. See you in next episode. Bye.